try and disrupt the bandwagon.
It's a great story, isn't it? He's actually dropped off the tour twice before. He's 32. He's no spring chicken. And once actually was a club professional at the RAC club down in London.
In Pall Mall. He's probably given a lesson to my next door neighbour, Roy. So if you're watching, Roy, you'll be tuned in today because he's probably had a couple of lessons off Martin.
OK, that was in the past. This is now, and this is a big occasion for both.
Good break-off from Martin O'Donnell's caused Ronnie an early problem. And I do think the key to playing against the top players, for less-known players, is definitely play the table, not the player. It's far easier said than done.
If Martin O'Donnell came out and played this table today and just didn't miss any easy balls, you know, it'd be interesting to see how far you would get. It's the unforced errors that people produce against Ronnie, and obviously that's the pressure playing Ronnie O'Sullivan.
I'm not too sure about you, Stephen, in your career, but I don't think I ever really had a game plan against a player. Just tried to play the table.
Well,
nicely on the green. The problem in this break is going to be the black doesn't look available. If he pots the pink, that's going to be unavailable.
4.
But it'd be good just to pot 3 or 4 loose reds with colours. Just get the arm going.
5.
Not on the blue. If he's dead straight on the green, he can pull it back across the face of the blue for a red into the right corner. Say he's not on the blue. It's a thin cut. I think he's got enough of an angle on the green that that's a problem. So he's a little bit in no man's land here for ideal position. The brown would be an option for a right-hander. Not so. It's a bit harder for him.
Playing the direct screw back on the green. This has to be struck well. It's just off straight. And he has struck it well. And that's a nice little brush off the blue. I think another thing is important is that he plays at his own pace. He doesn't try and change anything today. He just plays his natural game.
Big slice of luck there for ideal position. OK, he'd have had a chance at the red or another red into the left corner, but he'd have been delighted to have seen that flick off the blue.
I know he's not had much table time, but there you see the average shot time is almost twice as much as Ronnie O'Sullivan. I'm sure that'll come down.
9.
It has to be said he was very impressive against Ding Junhui yesterday. And also in the way he closed the game out. He didn't balk at his chance.
Obviously the red beside the black doesn't pot to the right corner because that's what he'd be playing for here. So you're just looking at the red in between the black and the main bunch. Interesting to see where the pink goes when he pots this. Played the aggressive shot. And fortunately that looks like end of break.
$15.
Didn't look like he had the angle to ever get a full enough contact on the bunch there.
Yeah, the only trouble is the harder you hit it, the more the cue ball goes off to the side before the backspin takes effect. It's a trade-off, really. Hit it softer, you don't do so much damage. Hit it harder, you miss the ball, or the cannoning ball.
You could
Martin
physically
O'Donnell,
see
15.
Martin O'Donnell's bridge hand. There's a bit of shaking. Understandable. Massive occasion. You see, if you watch closely, there's not quite so obvious, but you could see a little bit of twitching in the hand. Don't think he'll be even breathing normally at the moment, Martin O'Donnell.
Well, regardless of how he's feeling, how many players that have lived the dream and thought about playing the game of snooker at professional level would love to swap places with Martin and play Ronnie O'Sullivan centre stage.
Long way off. Brought the cue ball back to trying to get it back to safety. That pot would have been a lot easier if he could have played for the black.
And considering how far he missed it by, he did well to get the cue ball back as far as he did. He'd have got a lot more backspin on had he have hit it fuller in the face. Ronnie spotted a gap. He thought he'd spotted a gap, but he played it very thick. He mishit the angle. He won't be happy with that. Has he done any damage?
One.
So a sort of replica of the first game, first frame. This is Martin O'Donnell's second bite amongst the balls. Can he replicate what Ronnie did in the first frame?
Once he puts the blue, that's going to go in the pink spot, and it
Blue
will
ball.
be available to the right corner. So it's a decent opportunity, this. No need to bother about trying to get the black into play, really, because all the reds are round about that pink spot. So blue and pink
6.
are certainly enough to continue this break.
Seven.
Yeah, those reds aren't ideally placed. None of them at the moment pot into the right corner.
Yeah, he needs to just stun the cue ball for one of the two reds below the blue, one of those, the top one preferably, into the left corner. Even if he's played it well, I was going to say, even if he's bridging over the other red, as long as it was straight, it was unmissable. He's trying to develop something.
12.
The only thing bridging over a red, if it's the red he's playing is off straight, that's when the problems can begin with the positional side of the shot.
13.
But this is a nice opportunity, isn't it? Because it's nothing to do with the cue ball. Cue ball shouldn't be travelling any distance here at all. Red's all surrounding that blue.
He should be able to continue playing decent position and close in as well. Playing this, we could play this with a bit of stun for the red just below the blue, but lining up with topspin, he's going to leave himself more distance away from the next red, but there's one available into the left corner. We did stun it in the end. Drop the cue down a bit.
Yeah, he's addressing the cue ball quite high, wasn't he, for that shot? Like you, I thought he was dropping it in the topspin.
Well, that shot we saw with the bridge, he does have some bridge movement and seems to drop down a fraction when he plays the shot, so I don't know if that's on every shot.
Good shot. Yeah, he's played that very well. Finished right side of the pink.
He has a very distinctive bridge, doesn't he? It's like a half a claw going on there with the middle two fingers. They don't necessarily add too much strength
25.
to the bridge. The little finger and the index finger are the two that really add strength to a bridge, but
26.
Yeah, looks to be pretty straight in this, but shouldn't be a problem. Just drop the blue in, almost dead weight. Follow the cue ball through for the red that's closest to the blue. Actually played it as a bit of a stun run through. Next angle in the blue's got to be correct, hasn't it?
31.
yep. The difference between not being able to get on the black and playing blues all the time, you're dropping 2 points every red. It can mean you might need an extra red at the end to get over the line.
32.
He's looked pretty composed, just taking his time, playing at his own pace. Played that nicely as well. Okay, the cue balls, he's not had a lot of work to do in this break, but what he has done, he's done it perfectly so far.
37.
Well, we've seen plenty of low-ranked players, when they do get a chance on the main table, collapsing. Certainly hasn't happened here, but this shot did. Perhaps that was getting
Martin
closer to the
O'Donnell,
finishing line.
37.
Just trying to get a few more reds, and he'd have been over the line.
He missed it by a long way, didn't he?
Didn't really expect that. I thought he was in stroke by then. Came from nowhere, really. So the counter-attack from Ronnie O'Sullivan.
Six.
Yeah, go back to what I said earlier when you're playing Ronnie O'Sullivan. Just don't miss any easy balls, and then you give yourself a chance.
7.
Martin O'Donnell is going to hope that Ronnie has some positional problems. That red and black are a problem.
And he's coming around to play, or look at this red. If he chose to play the red to left middle, he could have come off the cushion and possibly play a cannon on the red next to the black.
made that look easy, and Ronnie doesn't have a personal extension that he screws into the bottom of his cue. I don't think those extensions are as good as something that screws in tight to the cue, but
18.
made it look easy. Difficult bridging this one, and left-handed. Wow, he's changed his mind there.
Oh, now that's when the real work starts. Looks to be straight enough to pink, just to screw direct in behind this red. And that's how he goes about this,
25.
moving this last red next to the black after this red, which he'll hopefully pot high in the blue.
26.
Well, the red scraped in, and body language would say he's very straight in the blue.
He'll be really looking for a way to get it out off the pink here with a little bit of left-hand spin. Perhaps he can screw through the gap as well. Even that's a better way as well. That's a fantastic effort. It's a brilliant effort. It really is. Well, okay, it looks
32.
to be end of break, but he may be able to play a very good safety. A lot of players may have played that. I think I would have done. In between yellow and brown, and put left-hand side spin on to come down and try and move red and black, but he got some pace into it as well. Pretty unlucky. No attempt at the pot.
Ronnie O'Sullivan, 32.
And Martin O'Donnell will be relieved to have another chance, and also relieved to actually be able to see the red.
He's actually got quite a comfortable safety shot. You just play the red onto the black. Try and get the cue ball in behind that brown and yellow, somewhere in the baulk cushion. Tap on the table from Ronnie. You can see this red. But as you say, Steve, Martin will be just delighted he's still in this frame. Brilliant shot. With a trace of left-hand side.
Bit of danger here. Tough safety. Whichever safety shot he chooses, he hasn't got much margin of error on the shot itself, for fear of colliding with other colours. He's also got to try and get the red safe.
Foul. Ronnie O'Sullivan,
Well,
4.
He didn't collide with blue or pink, but that path towards the middle pocket was always a problem as well. Straight in the middle.
1.
He really set himself up for that shot, but gave it plenty of respect. you'd expect it to be a frame winner. But he does need all the balls.
Seven.
Would have liked to be 2 or 3 inches further up the table. This needs to be struck well. No doubt it will be.
9.
It was just an awkward little angle he had in the yellow there.
Ronnie O'Sullivan, 9.
Well, I don't think anyone in the arena expected Ronnie not to win when he knocked in the long red. You can see what he thinks about that situation. What a chance for Martin.
3.
He was a little way out with that green. He is brilliant left-handed, but I don't think he is as good left-handed as right on that shot. So it was a judgment call whether to play it left-handed or with the rest, but it was tough cut, and also a tough cut to control the cue ball.
Seven.
A little bit closer to the cushion for comfort, but this is frame ball. Wiggled in. Well, you could see the effort in his face there, visually, the effort he was putting into that shot. Person of the lips, concentrating so hard. And it's now out of the woods. If he misses his pink, Ronnie will come back to the table. Well done, Martin O'Donnell.
18.
He'll feel a lot better now. He's into this match. He's got his first frame on the board. All square at 1 each.
Walking down during the frame and they're doing it in that frame. And if they carry on, you're going to have to stop it.
All right, I'll keep an eye on it.
No, you've got to tell someone to tell them to stop. People
Okay, I'll call through. Did you get that?
Yeah, just a little bit of movement distracting Ronnie would appear in that frame, but it's Martin O'Donnell who's fought hard in that one. And John, you were saying actually as we were watching